Oh my God, we're live and everything's working. Can y'all hear us? Please confirm in the chat. Is there anybody out there? I see a few people in here. I see some of our usuals, Rob, Josh, Luke. Okay. So, Himanshu, can you say something to confirm that everybody can hear you?
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening,
Oh my
based on your time
God,
zone.
it's working. Okay. I promise though that this is going to be worth the wait because there are some very exciting new updates. But before that, Becky is at an offsite and she cannot be here today, but we will send her love and good vibes. And you all will have to make do with me till she's back next week. So, community update. There is a question about how to uninstall unwanted applications via PowerShell. So that is has been posted in community scripts. There'll be links to all of this in the show notes. So if anybody has any recommendations or anyone's a PowerShell wizard, go and help a buddy out. Next up, we have a community script from Sean, who is one of our sales engineers, about new device onboarding experience with Okta Identity Federation. So he's always churning out some cool stuff. But this is your weekly reminder to please test your community scripts on your own before deploying them. And they are not officially supported by JumpCloud, so you can't go to JumpCloud support if you have any issues with that. Himanshu, did we lose you on video or did you deliberately turn off your video?
Looks like something in the Chrome, but don't worry, I'm looking into it. Are you able to hear me?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, we can still hear you.
awesome.
Okay, cool. So I'll
All right.
keep going. Next up, in some product adjacent news, we have an actual product roadmap that can be viewed anytime and is constantly updated. So you don't have to wait for the webinars anymore. It will cover recently released features, features in progress and like coming soon, and also features that are being planned for the future. Yes, Himanshu is back. I prayed to all the gods before we started this. So we have that. There's going to be a link to that in the show notes as well. And there's also a link to it in the community. So you should go and check that out. And finally, we have a new software management course in JumpCloud University. So you can check that out as well. And that's most of the community updates. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Brandon showed up this time, so the show will go on. Thank you. Good luck charm slash mascot, Brandon. It's Becky. Better to send her the Mountain Dew portrait. We upgraded from a roadmap to Google Maps. Yes, you now have directions, ETA, subject to change if traffic changes, all of those good things. So I think it's going to be super useful because otherwise you only had like one webinar every quarter, and this is going to be more frequently updated, I believe, and you can look at it whenever you want. If you need an official script supported by JC, pester the feature support gods. Yes, we are champions of feature requests. We love them. I did some math and saw that Nathan has submitted 62 feature requests. I don't know if Nathan's here. Shout out to Nathan. Nathan is here. I did the math and I shouted you out, Nathan, in the marketing meeting. So keep at it. Coming to product releases and announcements. So there's a couple of new things. There is a specific API endpoint, which is to reactivate system users. So the GET request for that is going to be deprecated and it's going to be converted to a POST request. So you can check all of those details out on our release notes page, which I will put in the show notes. We also have enhanced browser tab names for remote sessions. So previously, when multiple remote sessions were running on different tabs, all the tabs were named JumpCloud Remote Assist, and the user had to click each tab to identify the device. With this enhancement, users can quickly identify the tab that's running a remote session for a particular device. So that's helpful. We also have enhanced remote assist prerequisites check on Mac OS devices. So previously, when macOS users logged into Remote Assist, the JumpCloud Remote Assist system access dialog would display until all necessary permissions were granted for Remote Assist to function correctly. But now there's an option for the user to dismiss the JumpCloud dialog window If the user selects do not show me this message again, they won't see the dialog on their next login, but they will receive a system notification to remind them to grant access. So that's also cool. Less annoying pop-ups that persist forever. And there is a new operating system condition for conditional access. All the cool new things. So, yes, hi Nathan. Hi Kelly. Brandon was gone last week. Maybe that was a team effort. Yeah, maybe Kelly and Brandon not showing up makes Crowdcast break. So, y'all have a superpower and you didn't even know it. So, that was the 100 miles an hour update on community and product releases because Himanshu has a lot of cool stuff to talk about. So before we get started, just a reminder, keep putting your questions in the chat. We will get to them at the end. I will be marking them as we go along, and we will make sure we get to all of them. So keep posting them. And Himanshu, take it away.
Thank you, Rishi. All right, let me share my screen and there we are. So today, I'm going to talk about new password complexity policies. We released these policies 2 weeks back, and also there's going to be all the announcement about Password Manager, what we have released in last couple of months. And then there's a Password Manager desktop app 2.0, which will release in July. You must have heard about this app release. I've been talking about that from last 4 or 5 months. I think in my last two sessions, I talk about that we are working on the revamping the whole desktop app. If you are using Password Manager, you must have seen we redesign or revamp our browser extension in February. And now we are doing the same work on the desktop app by introducing a lot of new workflows and as well as making sure things are a lot more easy for administrators to manage between different stakeholders. So the first topic for today is our new password complexity policies. So I'm just going to give a little bit of background why exactly we implemented these two new policies or what our roadmap are. So there was this, the customer pain problems there where organizations were struggling with the weak or easily guessable passwords. Like today, you can go and create any test1234 any of those common password which easily guessable there. And users were using often very common phrases and which are easy to remember there. So that's where we started our journey to ensure that you have a secure password in your organization. So how might we strengthen your password governance there? So today, as of now, we have increased the minimum length to 12 characters, and we restrict the repetitive incremental words. So this is a new policy. Once you have enabled that, we will ensure that the repetitive words won't be a part of your passwords there. And then we also include another policy which will restrict 1,000 commonly used password so that the users won't be able to use those words be a part of your passwords there. And what's the next thing we are working on right now is we are going to add an ability to apply this password policy to per user group. For example, you have a use case where you want to have a certain configuration for your full-time employee versus contractor. You want your contractors to keep resetting their password every 60 days versus 90 days. Or you want your DevOps teams to have a lot more complex password than the rest of your organization because they have access to the GitHub repositories and so on. So all these different use cases are there, and we will ensure that you will be able to use our custom password policy to apply that on user group. This is something is in the planning phase right now, and our plan is to deliver next quarter. And then after that, we are also working on adding a custom word so that, for an example, you have your organization and you have your own list of words. You want to ensure that you do not want those words to be part of the password policy. So that's where you will be able to upload the file with the list of passwords so that we will ensure that those words are not going to be part of the password. So the custom band policy is there. Then the later on, we will continue this journey where we will restrict a lot more regular expressions and restrict the password from breached list and ambiguous characters and so on. So today, if you go to our password settings page, you will see these two new policies there, which is where you cannot use the commonly used password, and the password cannot include repetitive or sequential characters there. By default, these two policies are disabled for everyone. If you are one of those organizations who want to upgrade the complexity of the password in your organization, then you have to go and manually enable this. So the commonly used password, this is where we will ensure that when the user is creating the password, it must not include any word which is listed into the 10,000 list of common passwords. So, for example, test 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I'm using test 1, 2, 3, then I won't be able to use the password there. And there's another common one password which is like a live scan explanation mark. So all those commonly used 10,000 words, which we will ensure that the user won't be able to
But
create there.
Himanshu, these are all my favorite passwords.
I know, unfortunately, you
I
won't
have
be
to
able
come up
to.
with something new.
That's true.
Maybe I'll just do test 1, 2, 3 backwards. Anyway, continue.
Uh, yeah. So the next policy, which is about the password cannot include repetitive or sequential characters for three or more. So that's where, if you're using AAA, like six small a or AA 1, 2, 3, 4, that's another very commonly used password. And if it's not part of that list, because you have this policy enabled, the users won't be able to configure the password when they're resetting these passwords. So this is what we have all about our password complexity. Now I'm going to talk about Password Manager. So a couple months back, we released our archive section on Password Manager desktop app. This was available on the mobile app. What it means that anytime you delete anything on the mobile app, then it's saved in the archive and you can recover it from there. But it was missing on the desktop app. That's where what happened, like accidentally we ended up deleting certain accounts or certain items, and there was no way to recover. Now there's a peace of mind. If you ended up deleting something, that will remain in archive section forever, unless you go there and manually delete that for forever. Then also we introduced last month we introduced 20 new DI event related to Password Manager. So now, as an administrator, you will be able to have a log which tells you what are the users who are trying to copy and paste the passwords within the password manager, who are where they are trying to autofill. If sync did not work for a certain group of people, then they use the force sync functionality. There's going to be an event if the app is getting update properly or not. Anybody make any changes into password backup, there's a very important information where you want to find out that okay, is somebody exporting the data from the password manager. So that's another event. You will be able to filter it out and see how many people and how many time they have exported this data. And then the list will continue, which is about importing, and also if anybody like for an example, you unlock the data, you want to find out the timing and day, and also the restoring item from the password history, or you're looking into one of the previous password and try to copy and paste. So all those governance and the compliances which require for a password manager product, all these logs are going to be available for everyone. Then also we introduced an RPM build for password manager Linux desktop app. That's where we uh, move from app image to RPM build. As most everybody who's using app image in the past, you are aware of it that every time there was an upgrade, you have to manually uninstall and then install the next version. There was a lot of limitation on the desktop app UI and the usability. So within RPM build, the Linux build get a lot more stable, and also it does support automatic upgrade, and at the same time it add a lot of user experience, lot of options available on the desktop app. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about our desktop app 2.0, which talks about the improvement in the shared folder management. So we simplify the whole process for creating and managing the shared folder, because today the only place where you can create a shared folder is a desktop app. So that's why we want to make sure that if it's an IT administrator or if it's one of those team member who are sharing, creating a shared folder, their life is going to be a lot more easy and the process is going to be a lot more complex, easier, because right now, if you have to create a folder, assign items, and share with somebody, there are like 5 steps. You have to keep going back and forth between different screens. So we made this whole flow to everything visible as a flow on the one screen. And then there's a global search, which is going to be available. And then there's a better editing options for items. And definitely with this new revamp, there's going to be a lot more performance enhancement. The app will take a lot more faster to load and a lot more smoother transition between one item to other item or between one page to the other page there. And that's where I'm going to give a live demo about our desktop app, which will be available in GA in the mid of July. So this is how our new desktop app looks. As you see, this whole design here has been changed. And now there's a global search there. What it means if I put down something. So it's going to see, okay, with this name, there's a password, and then there's a list of 2FA. And if I'm going to go down, then there's a one folder with that name as well. So there's a global search available. Right now, what the behavior is that when you try to search something, if you have selected a password, it will only show you the password search there. It won't show you the other items in the folder. So you have to click on each and every item and then see what you're trying to search there. And then the next thing we will talk about is the folder creation and the managing flow. So I click on add item, click folder. So this time I'm creating this folder for my UX team. Click continue. So now here I have all the list of items which is available. And it also tells me that currently these items belong to which folder. So that if I'm moving things between different folders, I'm aware of it. So I'm going to search for Figma. So I have this software license which I want to share with my team because they're going to install that their desktop app, and so I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to look for, so I have this booking.com, is moving this from the sales to the UX team. All right. So as you see, while I'm typing, it's just happening, pretty much loading more frequently there. And then I click continue. Now I can decide, do I want to create this a personal folder or shared folder? So I want to create this as a shared folder, then continue. And now here I will search. So I'm going to assign that to my teammate. And also I'm going to assign that to Urvashi so that Urvashi have access to that as well. All right. So,
Oh no, you guys, I got access to something. You better watch out.
and I can decide what level of access they have. By default, everybody gets
Himanshu,
folder.
Himanshu, you
I
assigned it to
selected the
the
wrong
wrong
one.
Urvashi.
That's, you know, that just happened with today morning. Like there are more than one Himanshu here, so that's happened. Okay, let me try.
Thank you. With the correct
There
spelling.
you go.
Thank you. This is a
Yes,
true real live demo. Please carry on.
there is a possible lag. It's just a difference of one word. Yeah. So I'm gonna make you a folder manager, Urvashi, so that you can invite whoever you want in this folder, or you can add any new websites or item you want. And I'm gonna keep other two member as a folder member, so that they can only use this particular website as an autofill. They won't be able to go inside and copy and paste anything. They can just see the information there. Create folder, and now there you go. So this folder has been created. So I have these two links there, and then I'm sharing this with these peoples, and I can share. So now you will be able to see what exactly the definition of each one of those roles are there, the access level. So if I want to change Firas to an item manager so that he can only add an item into this folder, but he won't be able to invite any new team member into this. So then you just click save. And I can add a new item here. So if I want to add any new, so for example, I want to add Amazon account in this as well. So I click save, and you see the Amazon account is there. So this has become the complete flow which is available in one page. So today, with our existing app, you have to go to each and every account, and then you have to click edit, and then you change the folders here. I'm gonna come out of this. And another improvement we did here is our credit card information. So with the new flow, we are following the standard credit card domain UI where all the information is not available. So our existing design, you were able to see everything by default there. But now when you only click on the eye icon, then only the information is available, or you can copy
So
paste if
just
you want
just a demo, Himanshu. Could you show us the full card number and the CVV?
to. Don't worry, this is just a dummy card number.
No. Okay, never mind. Carry on.
All right. And another improvement we did is with our peer devices. So today, when you click on your peer device, you see the Chrome, Safari, then the Windows, iPhone, Mac, all those different list of, and you really don't know what exactly happening, which browser belong to what systems and so on. So now we design such a way that if I'm on my Mac OS, that tells me that my Google Chrome is already configured. So I have an extension installed which is working fine. Now, if I want to connect any other browser, Safari, Firefox, I will just click it. It will redirect me to that particular location. I can download the extension, and then I will have another browser list down there. Same thing applied to the Windows. I don't have any browser configured there. That's why you don't see anything here. But that's the whole point that, if I have four devices, I want to see those four devices there, and once I click on it, then I will see which browsers has integrated with it. Rather than showing 8 or 9 different items and getting confused, I used Chrome with which device at what time and those. And then we have this new security dashboard where you will be able to filter out things. If I want to use only weak password, then it will tell me if there's any weak or if any reused one. And then we have this whole new settings for Password Manager. And you guys are already aware of it. If not, so we added a new section called What's New a couple months back, so that every time there's a new update and we show a small pop-up where you see the detail, like a high-level information, what is inside this app. But if you want to know things in detail, you can click it and it will take you to a browser where it tells you that what are the different features we have or bugs we have fixed in the specific version of desktop app. Go back. And that's all what we have in the desktop app 2.0. We ensured that you are easily able to filter it out things. So if you want to focus on specific folder on the UI, you can sort it out. And another thing we have added that you will be able to select items as bulk. So now I selected these 4 items and I want to move that to a different folder. So I will be able to move that to, I'm going to move to the UX team folder, which I just created. And now if I go to UX team, you will see all these things are here. So bulk selection, taking action on it, you want to delete it or you want to move it between different things, that option is available in the new design as well. And other than that, we are working on another feature, which most likely will available next week. This is about export functionality. So today, by default, export data option is available for everyone. But there's a use case and there are a group of users who have asked for that they do not want that export data option to be available by default because the only time they need export data information when you are migrating from one place to other place or one device to other, or if you have a backup available, the cloud backup, you don't even need that. So the concern here is that anybody in the organization can go and export their list of password, whatever they have in their password vault, and they can misuse that information there. So there's going to be a setting on the admin portal which will allow admin to configure that if you're one of those vendor who has concern about security and you want to disable this functionality, you want to only enable it when specific user in such a situation or you are moving from one device to other device, then you can enable that. Otherwise, this you can go and disable this functionality so that user won't be able to see export data option there. They won't be able to export anything out of the password manager vault. And we are also working on, it's still a very early stage. I would say it's still in the planning phase of it, introducing a password manager policies where as an administrator, you will be able to configure a lot of settings, the compliances about as an org what you want to decide. For an example, you can set that at the lock screen you want only biometric authentication to be a part of logging into it because you have all the devices which have a built-in fingerprint in your organization, or you want to set a certain time frame when the app will get locked, and then you as an organization you want to decide that what should be the minimum length and the complexity of the password generated to, so users won't be able to decrease and that they will be able to increase the length of the character but they won't be able to decrease on based on whatever the value you're going to enable on the admin portal. So there are, I would say, around 20-25 different conditions or the policies we are planning to add into admin portal so you can manage the complete behavior centrally of the password manager. That's all I have for today's. Yeah.
I love that you give us so much information. You're like, that's all I had. It's like Miranda Priestley in Devil Wears
Yeah.
Prada, like gives you a whole list, like that's all. But we have lots of questions, so we will go in order. I think some of these you might have answered as we were going along, but will the ability to prevent export of passwords be out soon? And you have addressed that.
Yes.
So that is possible. So that's done. Next question was about passkey support.
So that is something on our roadmap. I don't have the ETA yet, but yes, we it's under consideration. We want to support passkey as in login factor for password manager. Yeah.
Awesome. And you know what to do, y'all. Submit a feature request. Let me just put that link in the chat. And marking Nathan's latest as a question. Okay, next one. Can't we use our standard password criteria for JC passwords? And I believe the answer is yes. These are just additional options, right?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully that answers your question, Shane. Next up, Sam mentioned that there was some discrepancy between the documentation and the new flow, but we resolved it in the comments, and I believe it's being fixed, and support helped with that. So, next is from Josh. How is this password governance going to work where the user is allowed to use those passwords on whatever account online they're setting up? And then when JC prompts to save the password, it just says no. Now the password is set and not saved in JC. So users are not going to reset the password again. They're going to write it down instead. There's no
So,
way we can enforce that, right?
yeah, so I don't know what exactly the scenario here is. So basically, what will happen once you change this complexity and you have a user group configuration available, which you can deploy, slowly roll out that in your organization. After that, every whenever the user is going to reset the password, during the reset, this new complexity is going to get applied to the user. Either user wait until 60 days because his or her password is getting expired in 60 days, or if within those 60 days they try to reset their password, that's where they remember the whatever the pattern they were using for last 2, 3, or 5 years, but now this time when they tried the same thing, it's just going to show them an error message and tell them that because there's a complexity change, please try some different combinations there.
So the basically the prompt will persist, right, to set a different
Yes,
password. It
yes,
won't just go away. Okay, so
no,
hopefully that answers your question, Josh. So they're not gonna, the dialog box isn't gonna disappear, so they're gonna have to meet the requirements and then it will get saved.
correct.
Let me just check the chat if there's anything. Okay. Next up. Um, can we limit browsers that the plugin can be installed? I'm not Go ahead.
So today there is a two policies available which talks about you can install that on Safari and Chrome, but limiting that as an option, you will only see certain browsers to install. That is a part of our password manager admin policies. So when I talk about there are 25 policies, this is one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hopefully that answers the question. Shane, if you have any follow-ups, please pop them in the chat. Next up, are there any drag and drop capabilities?
Not as of now. In this version of desktop app, there won't be any drag and drop. Yeah.
Nathan, you know what to do. By the way, Himanshu, I don't know if you know, but Nathan has, I did some math recently, and he has submitted 62 feature requests when I last checked. So he's one of our pioneering feature request submitters, and he has the unofficial prize. So thank you for that, Nathan. Next up, is there an import feature? Kelly asks.
Yes, there is an import feature where you can import from a CSV file, which you export from the Google Chrome browser or Safari browser. Also, there's an import flow which will give you an option if you are moving from any third-party password manager vendor. So all those options are available there.
Okay, excellent. Um, okay, Nathan's latest question. He says he knows he asks about this every time, but any ability or plans to allow data and passwords to be added, retrieved via API.
Yeah, so we are working on adding a custom option so that you can add a custom item which can be an API. There's a feature request available for that already, and we are it's under consideration. So uh, I don't have the exact answer right now if it's going to be part of our first phase of policies or not, but yes, we are working on that and making sure that we support that. It's on our roadmap.
Okay, so basically like having an API endpoint, like a JumpCloud API endpoint where you can manage the password manager. Yeah, okay. Okay, Nathan, it's coming, but you know what to do in the meantime. All right, let's get catch up with the chat. Rob is saying, let's put this on the screen. This is looking good since it's now included with platform service level. We're going to need to reevaluate Bitwarden usage. Yes, cancel all the other things. Okay, we have another question from Josh, which says, with admin policies, will there be the ability to either only allow password manager on managed devices or require approval for parent devices to be sure that password manager is not installed on personal devices?
Yes, and also you will be able to restrict which devices. For example, if you know you're using your environment is Windows only or specific version of Windows only or Mac only, you will be able to configure that as well.
Okay, excellent. But that's all coming soon, right? Not yet available.
Yeah, not yet available. In fact, we are working on this whole redesigning the onboarding flow, which is a long term, I would say 2025, where our plan is to make an improvement so that you don't have to manually uninstall anything. If you have an agent installed, you have a permission password manager activate for that user, everything should deployed and it's a trusted device. So yeah,
And I
but
think
that's a
that
look.
kind of answers Ken's question, which is when will it be out? So this new workflow is 2025, but will the policies also be 2025?
I would say it will be in 2024, but still it's as it's right now it's like in a pathfinding phase. We are making some tech debt challenges and making sure. But after this release, that will become one of our high priority for password manager engineering team for sure.
Gaurav is saying his co-op will end by 2025. Extend it. Gaurav, extend it. All right. Are there any other questions before we go to IT news? Anybody? This is all really cool, Himanshu. I mean, it's just getting more and more like capable and, including so many more use cases. Okay, going twice, going three times. Okay. Thank you, Himanshu. Please hang out while I read the IT news so we can get your input and comments. Okay, we've got a mix of feelings with the news. AI workers demand stronger whistleblower protections in an open letter. The letter comes a couple of weeks after a Vox investigation revealed OpenAI had attempted to muzzle recently departing employees by forcing them to choose between signing an aggressive NDA or losing their vested equity in the company. So, this group of current and former employees from leading AI companies like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic have signed an open letter asking for greater transparency and protection from retaliation for those who speak out about the potential concerns of AI. The quote is, so long as there is no effective government oversight of these corporations, current and former employees are among the few people who can hold them accountable to the public. And yet, broad confidentiality agreements block us from voicing our concerns, except to the very companies that may be failing to address these issues. So, dun 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 dun. I mean, but I'm glad someone is talking about it, and they're right. They are one of the like a small set of people that can call them out. So, any thoughts, comments? Where is Rob? I feel like Rob should have a quip about this. Anyway, I'll allow him to take his time with that. Next up, in slightly stressful news, very stressful news. London hospitals declared an emergency following a ransomware attack. So it crippled a London-based medical testing and diagnostics provider that led to several major hospitals in the city to declare a critical incident emergency and cancel non-emergency surgeries and pathology appointments. It was widely reported on Tuesday. The attack was detected on Monday against Synovis, a supplier of blood tests, swabs, bowel tests, and other hospital services in 6 London boroughs. The company said it has affected all Synovis IT systems, resulting in interruptions to many of the pathology services. The company gave no estimate of when its systems would be restored and provided no details about the attack or who was behind it. Oh, I mean, leaking passwords is one thing, but like getting in the way of healthcare is just, there's a special place in hell for these people, in my opinion. In more absurd news, Zoom CEO envisions AI deepfakes attending meetings in your place. This is like an episode of Black Mirror, basically, where it's going to be a bunch of avatars pretending to talk to each other. So I'm just reading the conclusion of the article, which is what I thought was the most interesting part. One question remains: if everyone will be sending digital dummies of themselves to talk to each other, why do we even need Zoom? The CEO of the company, what is this, suggested that people may have more time for in-person meetings and will have to work less in the future due to AI. I mean, if you're working less by putting a fake, you know, image of yourself on the meeting, then you're not like working less in a way that like is promoting added productivity. It's just like not showing up. Anyway, so the CEO continues, you and I can have more time to have more in person interactions, but maybe not for work, maybe for something else. Why do we need 5 days a week? Down the road, 4 days or 3 days? Why not spend time with your family? But then you're also pretending that there's work happening with your deepfake avatar in the Zoom meeting. I'm very confused. And I love the conclusion of the article. It sounds like a humane idea on paper, although the tech suggests that making it happen is entirely hypothetical and potentially rife with security issues. Basically, we won't know if this is going to work until it's actually invented. So these are all ideas right now. So yeah, Rob is saying back in the before times when I could listen to music, play a game, and also self teach myself how to configure a Cisco router. That was multitasking. Now you can go have a family lunch with your AI persona in a Zoom call, Rob. And in more AI news, because there's only AI news these days, y'all, a popular US news app accused of using AI to make up fake stories. Right? This is not even breaking news at this point. Newsbreak, a popular free news app in the US, has been publishing fictitious stories written by AI since 2021, according to Reuters. The app publishes licensed content from legitimate news sources such as CNN, AP, and Reuters itself, but it also uses artificial intelligence tools to rewrite press releases and local news. One of the most egregious examples of a false news story by Newsbreak was published on Christmas Eve last year. The app's write up claimed that there was a shooting in Bridgeton, New Jersey, when no such incident took place. What if it was all just PR for Bridgerton, the TV show? Rob is saying his AI persona would be a honey badger, but it's supposed to be a deep fake video of you. So it'll just be like your passport photo but blinking. How creepy would that be? That's all the news I have for today, friends. Are there any last minute thoughts, concerns? Himanshu, any opinions on this news?
You know, so I think it was last year or somewhere in Jan or something when Zoom also mentioned about like the AI. So they're using the AI in their Zoom calls, and that's where they will record not just while we're talking, while what we're typing in as well, so they can train their AI to have all these AI-driven meetings where your avatar is going to just taken care for you. And I wonder if anybody have seen such a meeting where you're part of the meeting where you see like the AI is representing someone.
Yeah, has anybody been on a call with a fake person? What if we are actually deep fakes, Himanshu? What if we're not even really here? I mean, I'm glitching pretty badly on the screen. What if I don't exist?
Yeah.
And we were talking before we started about like how I was looking through the news and everything was AI. And you had some thoughts. Do tell Himanshu your thoughts about AI.
Yeah, yeah, I was in one of the customer call, like where this question came because everybody talk about AI. They said, okay, so when are you guys going to use AI in Password Manager? And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So on one side, there's all this controversies going on with AI, and you are talking about integrating AI into a password vault where you have all your informations, all your hundreds of passwords there. Uh, to be honest, I've been working on Password Manager product for last 10 years. Even before JumpCloud, I was in my previous companies where I was managing the B2B and B2C Password Manager, but I never used anything personally uh, up until JumpCloud because of the decentralization, to be honest. Because you're telling me that you have a password manager which has this master password, and this is stored on the cloud somewhere. And if somehow somebody got access to this master password, all your hundreds and thousands of passwords information will get exposed,
It's just now
right?
it's like a single point of failure.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of your one endpoint is getting compromised. So yeah, I mean
But like what is
that's
the potential AI workflow within Password Manager? Like what are they envisioning?
so there's so actually, to be honest, things can be done without AI. We are working on certain things,
Shocking.
making improvements.
Breaking news from Himanshu to the industry. Things can be
Yeah,
done without
yeah.
AI.
I understand AI is the next thing we want to do it, but there's some reality, or maybe the AI is not mature, secure enough to apply to certain things. It's good to have a chat GPT writing emails, articles, or for students to have their assignments done and everything. That's a one thing. Or creating a amazing deepfake videos, put it on YouTube and all that. But having it deal with your banking informations, all it's still too early. And there are certain vendors out in the market who are saying in Password Manager we are introducing AI which will do better detection of particular login page. And because this is an ongoing issue with the Password Manager, all the vendors in the market where certain websites they make some changes on their login page, because of that change your extension will stop detecting what exactly happening on that page. Autofill stop working, or you try to change something, it doesn't get updated. So that's where every time continuously you see all the password managers, they continuously releasing the new version to supporting all those, because there are millions of sites out there. You cannot support everything. And that's where there are some vendors who are saying our AI is going to detect and have a lot more better support, so that anybody is changing anything, AI will immediately push out and make sure the browser extension is getting attach what exactly the username field, password field, change password field, all those things there. But up to certain point, those can be done, but without AI, uh, but I don't know if you really want to introduce AI into your banking login screen and you really trust that. I don't trust that, to be honest.
Oh my God, but also if AI is going to be detecting what's on your screen, that means it's like watching every screen that's on your computer, right? Like there's also
Yeah,
that like privacy aspect where
exactly.
I mean if you're oh my God, I just can't. Like, can you imagine if it's just reading your WhatsApp chats and like watching you type your password in? Or,
Yeah,
I mean, there's, yeah, we have to find a line between convenience and automation and privacy. So,
correct.
ah, so Kelly's saying, Greetings from the Uncanny Valley was supposed to be a clever podcast title, not a prediction of the future. I mean, I feel like Black Mirror is just satire now. It's like it's not even like dystopian anything. It's just the state of the world. Like especially with the Zoom avatars all talking to each other. Like also fun fact, everybody, avatar is an Indian word, okay, and it's pronounced avatar. It's not avatar. Very sorry to break it to you, but yeah, I feel like that is straight out of a Black Mirror video. Just pretending to work. I mean, I'm all for working less, but then why even pretend, right? Like, just take your 3 days or 4 days and do what you're gonna do and then leave. No need to like create this mirage of like productivity. I mean, there's already apps that will like keep your mouse moving so that you appear to be online. This is just the next stage of that. Kelly had said earlier that when you were talking about you can do things without AI, she was like Himanshu with the hottest take. Gaurav is also saying there was an Avatar Bollywood movie that was released way earlier, highly likely. There's also like a task management app that we use called Asana, which is like an Indian word which is in yoga, like an asana is a pose. And a couple of people refer to it as asana, and I kept saying asana. But fun fact, asana, if it is named after the Indian word, is pronounced very differently. So today's episode was about password manager updates and Indian words that have been absorbed into English and then mispronounced worldwide. So a little bit of culture at the end. All right, so if we don't have anything, then we can wrap up a few minutes early. And next week, we have a recap of the latest roadmap webinar. Oh, Brandon says Asana is evil. You have to pay for enterprise to make it not a financial virus. Ah, are we talking about the same thing? Oh my God, are we talking about the same thing? Do I need to like tell somebody internally? But yes, next week we have Chase who's going to join us and do a recap of the latest webinar. If you do want to watch the full webinar, it is available on the website. I'm just going to pull up the link really quickly. Resources. I don't know if you can hear my power backup beeping, but the power's out. The joys of monsoon. Okay, so the full video is here. So you just have to plug your email address in and you can watch it. But if you want to skip that and just do the recap with us where you can ask questions, join us next Friday. Thank you, Himanshu. So proud of us for making Crowdcast work.
Yeah.
Truly a moment to remember.
Yeah,
All
last
right,
week I want to
everybody.
apologize. It was a mess, yeah.
It was nobody's fault. So it's fine. It's over. It's in the past now. And we made it work this week, which is what's important. Thank you all for wait. Rob was saying I was about to say that there's a UPS throwing a fit, or is it the time for smoke detector? There is no smoke detector in my apartment, Rob. That's so kind of you to think there is. Anyway, that was the UPS. Thank you, everybody. Happy Friday, and have a good weekend. And we will see you on Friday again.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.